I'm really excited to be here with you all this morning. Have an amazing practice, and we'll get started as we always do at Yoga to the People in a child's pose. So please go ahead and settle your hips on your heels. Allow your forehead to rest heavy on the mat. And close your eyes. And make closing your eyes as important to this pose as hips on your heels and forehead on your mat. We navigate, even in quarantine, we are navigating this incredibly stimulated and stimulating culture. And then so much of our reality becomes predicated on what we're seeing, right? Like a hill seems much steeper if you've just had an intense workout. Or a landmark is going to seem further away if you're carrying something heavy. So close your eyes. And as a byproduct, you open up your vision. Your yoga practice is not about what anyone else looks like or your idea of what something should look like. How do you feel? It's a very individual journey, but we are all on it together. So let's take a breath all together. Exhale your air out with an SH. Allow an inhale to rush in through your nose, coat your throat, fill you up. And exhale. Gently rock your forehead side to side on the mat, massaging that space between your eyebrows. And feeling your brain get heavier inside of your skull. And start to crawl your fingers towards the front edge of your mat and invite a pushing and pulling sensation into this pose. Hips pull back, fingers crawl so far forward that you start to stretch under your armpits to the sides of your waist. And then keeping your eyes closed, press your palms down, curl your toes under, and send your hips high and heels low for your first downward facing dog. And move it around when you get there. Deeply bend one knee and then the other. You can bend both knees at once a few times, find some broadness in your lower back. Maybe you nod your head a few times, reminding those muscles in the back of your neck and underneath your skull to soften. And then slowly clean it up. So hips high, heels low. Look at your feet. They're about 6 inches apart. So you can imagine that your skull fits in that space. And then bend your knees a little bit so you can stick your butt up even higher, nice Stephanie, and feel the slope of your spine lengthen. Spread your fingers wide and use your arm strength to shift some of the weight into your legs. That looks nice, Kevin. Imagine you have eyeballs on your armpits. Try to get them to look at each other so you broaden that space between your shoulder blades. Nice. Okay, as you inhale, float your right leg up halfway. And then keeping your left heel heavy, lift your right leg higher and higher and higher, and then bend your knee, roll open your hip, and move it around. You can make some circles with your knee to mobilize that deep ball and socket joint of your hip. You can roll out your ankle, you can wiggle your toes. Then inhale your right leg up high. And exhale, kiss your toes back down. On your next inhale, float your left leg up. And keeping your right heel heavy, lift your left leg higher, 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 higher. Good. Point your toes, bend your knee, roll it open. And for as much of this practice as possible, keep your eyes closed. Cultivate your ability to be internally focused and externally aware. And then inhale your left leg up high. And exhale, toes back down. Okay, again, inhale, float your right leg up high. Come onto your left toes this time and step your right foot in between your hands. Drop your left knee down, point your left toes, and interlace your fingers on top of your right thigh. Low lunge. And if you feel like your right heel is kind of light on the mat, step the right foot more forward and melt more of the front of your left thigh onto the mat. Kick your left foot down so hard your left knee feels lighter. And pull your right belly away from your right thigh as you open up across your collarbone. Now, if you want to go a little deeper, you can bring your hands to your lower back. Pull your belly into your palms and look back, stretching the whole front of your body. Reach back with your left second toe and back with your bottom of the left eyelid. Take one more inhale, look back a little further. And then slowly come on up, plant your hands down. Curl your left toes under and step back for downward facing dog. Inhale, float your left leg up. And exhale, step it in between your hands. Back knee drops down, point the toes, and interlace your fingers on top of your left thigh. Now, for a lot of people, this feels like a very deep stretch. Flexibility never happens as a byproduct of being passive. You have to use your strength to create space. Keep kicking both of your feet down and energetically pull them in towards one another. Send the small of your back more towards your left heel. And bring your hands to your lower back if you want to go deeper. Belly in and look back to go back. Okay, and you use your strength to create space physically, mentally, spiritually. Take one more inhale, look back. And then slowly come on up, plant your hands down, step back, downward facing dog. Inhale, tilt your tail up. Exhale, bend your knees, look forward. Inhale, walk to the front of your mat and hang heavy in a forward fold. Separate your feet a little bit, bend your knees, and drop your head heavy. You can grab for opposite elbow or interlace your fingers at the base of your skull. So you have these ways of helping gravity help you. But it also has so much to do with just letting it. And then relax your arms if you haven't yet, and place two fists in between your feet to measure your inner hip width. Inhale, half lift, hands on shins or thighs. Stop when your spine feels flat. Draw your shoulders away from your ears. Lengthen your armpits away from your hip bone. Inhale, rock the weight a little forward. And exhale, forward fold, let it go. On your next inhale, sweep your arms up and stand up for mountain pose. Biceps frame your ears. And then close your eyes. And eliminate that visual perception of your reality and feel for a root to rise. Stand on your feet in a way that keeps the back of your heart lifted tall. Gently anchored down through your tail. Energetically lift up on the space in front of your sitting bones and create a pathway of energy up through your spine and the crown of your head. And if that made no sense to you, you just imagine it. You plant the seed so when they have the experience of it. Fingers spread wide, but shoulders stay soft. Features of the face stay soft. Maybe you blow out your lips. And flutter your eyes open, look up to the ceiling. Inhale, get 10 feet tall to stretch back. Open your heart, your throat, hips forward, arms back. And then dive forward for forward fold. Do it again. Inhale all the way up and back. Press down through your heels. Strong legs, strong arms. Touch what you see. And then dive forward, forward fold. Good. One more. Inhale. Reach all the way up and back to the degree that it feels good. And when you're ready, dive forward, forward fold. Half lift on your inhale, floss out your spine, and then step back and pause in your upper push-up plank. Stack your shoulders over your wrists. Wrists are on straight, fingers spread wide. Draw your pubic bone towards your navel and lengthen your tail towards your heels. Keep your pelvic bone neutral. Pull up on the fronts of your thighs, firm up your belly. Support this lengthening of the back of your body. Looks nice, everyone. All right, take a slow inhale to shift the weight forward. Slower exhale to lower just halfway. Pause here, it's a moment. Take a slow inhale for up dog. Kick the tops of your feet down, heart up, shoulders squeeze back and down behind you. Beautiful, Haven. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Hips high and heels low. Inhale, float your right leg up, kick your legs apart. Exhale, step your foot between your hands, toes line up with fingers. Dial your left heels out, and inhale, rise up for your warrior one. Use your exhale to arrive, sit lower into your lunge. And just like we said in that low lunge, you gotta push both of your heels down and energetically pull them in towards one another, like you're trying to scrunch them out between your feet. But stay low in your lunge as you do it. Anchor your tail down and pull your low belly in to support that slight ironing out of your lower back. Keep reaching up through the sides of your body, up through your pinky fingers. Shoulders stay soft. Pit of throat stays soft. Root of your tongue, inner ears, brain in your skull, all soft. Sit a little lower. And listen closely. Inhale, lift your chest, look back, reach back. And then plant your hands down. Step your right foot back to meet your left, feet together, and roll over to your left side. Lift your right arm for side arm balance, stacking heels, hips, shoulders, and wrists. Rotate your right bicep over your right ear. Float your right leg up off of your left. If you like to catch the knee or the big toe, you're welcome to. But wherever you are, try to switch your gaze and look up to the ceiling. Take an inhale to push the floor away. Slow exhale back to upper push-up. Keep exhaling to lower halfway. Inhale, upward facing dog. Stretch the sides of your ribs forward. And exhale for downward facing dog. On your inhale, float your left leg up. And step it in between your hands. Dial the back heel down. And inhale, rise up for your warrior one. Use your exhale to arrive. And close your eyes. And you can imagine that you have a string pulling your back inner arch up towards your ankle. So you really feel the back foot down. Pull up on your back leg and dial your right hip forward as you tug your left hip back. Good. Anchor through your tail. Firm through your belly. And make sure that your arms stay really, really strong. Right? In ancient yogic texts, Virabhadra from Virabhadrasana, the Sanskrit for warrior one, was a warrior who came into battle by rising up through the depths of the earth with a sword above his head. You got to keep your arms really straight and strong. Now sit a little lower. Inhale, lift your chest, look back, reach back. Exhale, hands down. Step your left foot back to meet your right, feet together, and roll over to your right side. Lift your left arm. Yes, Lexon. Push your hips up, 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 and then rotate bicep over ear. Float left leg up off of your right, and switch your gaze to look up. You got it. You got 3. Inhale, push the floor away. Exhale, back to upper push-up and lower halfway. Inhale, upward facing dog, shoulders squeeze back and down. Nice, Adina. Exhale, downward facing dog. And now keep moving. Warrior 1 and side plank. Right side, left side. Your breath, your movement. Try to find the peak of every inhale and the bottom of every exhale. It's especially in those exhales where the self-soothing quality and potential of the breath lives, which is part of why we offer those vibrational qualities of breath. It gives it texture. It helps you stay tethered to it. And it feels so good. If you're still moving, keep taking up space. If you're back in your downward facing dog, keep it really strong and active. Fingers spread wide. Wrapping your armpits towards one another to broaden that space between your shoulders. And having your head a little bit more than you think you are. Now, if it's available to you, please exhale your air out with an SH. And taking a slow, sweet inhale, hold it at the top. And HA. Ripple forward to your upper push-up plank, please. Shoulders over wrists, hips in line with shoulders like you already know how. Keep your hips where they are. Lift your right leg up, and then bend your right knee to the outside of your right shoulder. Slide your knee down to your wrist. Pull it back up to your shoulder. Extend it back and foot back down. Okay, other side. Lift your left leg. Knee to shoulder. Slide down. Slide up. Extend back. Toes back down. Okay, one more time with breath cues. Inhale, right leg up. Exhale, knee, shoulder. Exhale, slide. Inhale, slide. Inhale, extend. Exhale, toes down. One more. Inhale, left leg up. Exhale, knee to shoulder. Inhale, slide. Exhale, slide. Inhale, extend. Exhale, toes down, upper push-up plank, upper push-up plank. Downward facing dog, hips high. Inhale your right leg up. Exhale, step it between your hands, back heel down. Inhale for warrior 1. And exhale for warrior 2. Right arm forward, left arm back, and chin over your front shoulder. Then drive down through your heels. Reach forward with your right inner thigh. Draw down through your tail. Lift up through the roof of your mouth. Allow your shoulders to feel weightless. And reach with the undersides of your arms. And now instead of looking over your front fingers, switch your gaze to the wall to your left and swing your right arm under your left, crossing elbows and wrists so you eagle wrap your arms. Lift your elbows up in line with your shoulders. Draw your left shoulder away from your left ear, and maybe you feel a stretch on the top of your left shoulder, up the left side of your neck, maybe even up to the left side of your face. Take a slow inhale to sit lower and lift your elbows higher. Exhale, arms out long and strong, gaze forward. Inhale, flip your right palm, reach forward. Exhale, stretch straight up. Inhale to then reach for the back wall and sustain it here for your reverse warrior. Keep your right heel heavy and lift your bottom right rib up towards the ceiling. You might look up at your right palm or inner elbow. Take an inhale to sit low and reach back. Slow exhale to cartwheel your hands down. Try to keep exhaling as you step back and lower halfway. Inhale for upward facing dog, suspended between feet and hands. And exhale for downward facing dog. Inhale your left leg up. Exhale to step it through. Back heel down. Inhale, rise up for your warrior one. And exhale, peel open for your warrior two. Close your eyes. Now, in the origin of the warrior poses, in this pose, the Virabhadra makes his presence known by standing with his sword poised and ready to strike. So this represents him having his victim in his drishti or his gaze over his front middle finger. And then the back arm is the sword ready to strike. So keep that back arm as strong as your front arm. Don't let it get passive. Don't forget that it's there. Feel for it. And if your arms start to feel tired or heavy, you don't let them. You hug the muscles tighter on the bones of your arms and teach them how to hold themselves up for you. Now switch your gaze so you can swing your left arm under your right. Cross elbows, cross fists. Good, elbows up in line with your shoulders. Draw your shoulder away from your ear, your right shoulder specifically, and keep the back of your heart lifted. That looks good, Kevin. Iron out some of that low back bend. So tail down. Yeah. Inhale, sit low and lift tall. Exhale, arms out long and strong. Beautiful awareness, Jessica. Inhale, flip your left palm, reach forward. Exhale, stretch straight up. Inhale to then reach for the back wall and sustain it here with your breath, with your strength, with whatever of value shows up for you inside of it. Hips a little lower. Fan your left ribs open wide. Exhale, cartwheel your hands down. Step your left foot back and lower halfway. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. And keep moving. Warrior one, warrior two, and reverse. And if you want to eagle wrap the arm, you do it. You know, and even though the story of the warrior poses seems like kind of a violent story, it's not one that celebrates violence and carnage. In these postures, what we get to do is acknowledge our own spiritual warriors who every single day do battle with our own egos, our own self-ignorance. And these are the things that are the source of all suffering. Right? This is the kind of work that only you can do for you. We live in a world where that's really rare, right? Walk your dog, raise your kids, do your laundry. There is an app for all of that. Not this. You're back in your downward dog before your neighbor. Again, keep it really strong, or your virtual neighbor. Keep it really strong and active. All right, so you really make this whole practice one cycle of breath after another, regardless of where your body is in space. And if you're still moving, you're exactly where you should be. And if you're back in downward dog and it's available, Please exhale all your air out. Taking a deep, 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 deep inhale. And HA. All right, come down to all fours for your tabletop, please. Shoulders over wrists, hips over your knees. As you inhale, draw your belly towards the floor and gaze up to the ceiling for your cow tilt. And as you exhale, round your spine, belly in, heavy head for your cat. Again, inhale, open up your chest, look up, stretch your throat. And exhale, slow, shove the floor away, belly up and in. Come back to a neutral spine, so you're not back bending or rounding. And then extend your right arm forward and your left leg back behind you for spinal balancing. Push out of your left shoulder and kick down with your right foot. Reach forward through your right pinky finger and back with your left big toe. Now draw your right arm to the right and your left leg to the left for awkward airplane. Really waking up the outside of your left butt as you lift your left leg higher. And staying energized through your right palm as you keep that right bicep lifted. Good, one more time. Left leg a little higher, right arm a little higher. And then leg back, arm forward, stay with it. Get taller and lift higher. Hand down, knee down, all fours. And switch. Right leg extends back and left arm forward. Right, and it's meant to get challenging in here. You can't practice patience or compassion or integrity if things don't get challenging. So bring your left arm to the left and bring your right leg to the right even more and even higher than you think you can. Keep pushing down with the points of your body in contact with the mat. Lift everything up towards the ceiling and then leg back, arm forward, stay with it. Lengthen and lift. Hand down, knee down, all fours. Inhale for your cow. And exhale for your cat. Come back to your neutral spine. Curl your toes under for your upper push-up plank. Strong legs, firm belly, strong arms. Now slowly lower all the way down to the floor. And we'll take a Cobra Pose. So squeeze your heels together, keep your palms under your shoulders, and arch your chest a bit forward and up. Reach back through your big toes and forward through your lowest wrist. Draw your elbows towards your hips. Now keep everything where it is, but lift your feet up off the mat and your palms up off the mat. Good, squeeze back of body to lift everything higher. And slowly lower down, forehead to the mat. Curl your toes under and push the floor away for your upper push-up plank. And then lower all the way back down to your belly. Squeeze your heels together. Inhale, lift everything up. Legs up, palms up, look up, go up higher than last time. And slowly lower down. Curl your toes under, firm belly, shove the floor away. And now take that a few more times on your own. You'll lower to the floor. Inhale for your flying baby cobra. Lower down. Push up. And do it again. With every cycle of breath, go deeper into your experience. Find where you left off in your back bend and see if you can squeeze up just a little bit more. Looks good, Marina. All right, and then next time you're on your belly, if you want to do one more rep, you can. But bring your left ear to the mat and look to the right, and palms face up by your side. Bring your big toes to touch, let your heels flop apart, and broaden across your lower back. Pushing your left ear into the mat, almost like you're trying to listen for a secret beneath the floor, can help you stretch your neck a little. Then go ahead and bring your opposite ear to the mat so you stretch both sides of your neck. And at the same time, imagine that you have this little lung across your lower back. And with inhale, you create a little bit more space. And every exhale, you leave it a little softer. And bring your chin onto the mat, please, palms under the shoulders. Curl your toes under or use your knees to push the floor away, upper push-up plank, and hips high, heels low, downward facing dog. Let's take a breath together. Exhale, SH. Inhale, inhale, hold it. And HA. Inhale, tilt your tail up. Exhale, bend your knees, look forward. Inhale, look past your hands, walk or lead with your hips to hop forward into your half lift, long spine. And exhale, forward fold. Bring your big toes to touch, squeeze your knees together. And as you inhale, sit your hips back and down, arms up, palms pressed for your thunderbolt. Slide the weight back into your heels like your knees could stack over your ankle. Lengthen through your tail. Pull your low belly in. Reach to the sides of your waist, and as you spiral your biceps towards your face, get the pinky finger edges of your hands to touch. Sit just a little bit lower. Stretch your arms just a little bit more away from you, and now slowly stand up. Separate your hands a little bit. Identify your left arm and swing it under your right. Cross your elbows, cross your wrists, just like we did in Warrior 2. This time, bring your thumbs to your third eye, between your eyebrows and a little higher. Weight in the heels, lift your elbows up off your chest, and look back to go back. Keep the weight in your heels. Use your glutes and the thighs underneath them to press your hips more forward. Take an inhale to dip back a little further, and then slowly come on up. Fingers below your nose. Sit back and down into your seat. Keep your hips low and lift your left leg up and over your right, squeezing high at your inner thigh. Let's squeeze inner thighs tight. Marina, pick your left hip up and back a little bit more, right hip down and forward. Yeah, and now lean your chest back. Pull your fingers below your nose and push your heart into your bicep. Slowly hinge forward like a half lift feeling in your spine as you bring left elbow to left thigh. Unravel your arms, palms face down by your side. And lift your left leg up off your right and extend it behind you for airplane. Make a capital letter T with your body. Pull up on your right inner thigh and roll the eye of your left hip towards it. Squeeze your back leg straight. Bring your hands to heart center like a prayer. Keep your eyes steady. We'll move into balancing half moon. Right hand in front of right pinky toe. Left arm open. Left hip rolls open, right? You strengthen that left butt already. So use it to roll left hip on top of right, like you're leaning flat against the wall behind you. And now put a deep bend in your right knee and lightly land in a Warrior 2. Step back far. Nice work. Gaze over your front fingers. Remember to keep that back arm strong. Inhale to sit low and reach long. Side angle. Right hand inside your right foot. Left arm up. And look up at your left hand. Push your right arm into your right leg and your leg back into your arm. Tuck your right butt under, draw your tail towards your back heel. Rotate your chin more towards your left shoulder And we'll take a bind. Rotate from your shoulder to drop the arm behind you. And you can either thread your right arm underneath to grab for your top fingers or wrist. But if your chest drops down to the floor, do a modified half bind instead. Right elbow on right thigh, left palm to right thigh. Wherever you are with it, heavy your right heel and sit a little lower. Then inhale to roll your chest far open. We'll come into lizard pose, 2 hands inside your right foot. Move your right foot to the right, lift your left heel, and sway your hips forward and back, forward and back. On a back hinge, drop your knee down, point your toes. And then you might lower down to your right elbow, and you might lower down to your left elbow. There's a lot of traditions of yoga and a lot of ways to, that a lot of different traditions teach these poses. For lizards, sometimes you might hear that you can angle your toes out and let your knee fall away from you a bit. In others, you might hear foot on straight and pull your right inner thigh towards your right waist. I encourage you to play around and notice what feels really good for your body today. Either way, keep kicking your back foot down to send your hips more forward. If you're on your elbows, come up onto your hands, straighten your arms. Curl your left toes under, simply straighten your back leg. Try to keep your hips where they are as you send your right foot back, and then lower halfway down. Inhale, upward facing dog, stretch from your toes to your eyeballs. And exhale for downward facing dog. Exhale, exhale, exhale. Inhale, inhale, hold it. And say, inhale, tilt your tail up. Exhale, bend your knees, look forward. Inhale, walk or hop forward. Half lift, long spine. Nice, Hayden. Exhale, forward fold. Big toes together to touch. Inhale, sit back and down. Arms up, palms pressed. Thunderbolt. That looks really nice, Henry. See if you can pull those lowest ribs in a little bit more and really use the front of your core for support here. Nice. Straighten out your arms even more. Good. Sit low and reach tall. Stand up. Separate your hands. Right arm under your left. Cross elbows, cross wrists, and thumbs face you. Bring your thumbs to your third eye. Weight into the heel. Lift up and look back to go back. Now, a tendency in back bends is to bring the weight forward. Keep it back into your heels to counterbalance your hips pressing forward. Keep reaching up with the back of your heart. Send your elbows away from you. Good, Janine. Good, Adina. Take one more inhale to look back. And then slowly come up. Use the front of your core. Pull your fingers below your nose. Send the weight into your heels to sit back and down. Lift your right leg high up and over your left. Good, squeezing high at the inner thigh. Trust weight into your left heel. Draw right hip up and back, left hip down and forward, and really squeeze and warm up those inner thighs. Now slowly start to hinge forward. Firm belly, flat back, right elbow to right thigh. And then unravel your arms. Palms face down by your sides. Yeah, you got this, Haley. Keep the eyes focused. Lift your right leg up and extend it behind you for airplane. Nice, Andy. All right, right leg a little higher there, Henry. The dog is your yoga. Slowly bring your hands to your heart. All right, and then with grace, balancing half moon. Right hand down, left arm up. Right hip stacks, left hip stacks on top. Right hip stacks on top, like you're leaning flat against the wall behind you. Keep your back leg active. Spread your arms apart. Bend your front knee deeply and land in a warrior two. Yes. Good, get organized. Sit a little lower. Take up space. And side angle. Left hand inside your left foot. Right palm up. Good, active, active, active. Push your arm into your leg and your leg into your arm. Squeeze your left butt like crazy. Lean your chest back slightly. Nice, yes, Sasha, good. Now rotate right bicep over your right ear. And then you can rotate from your shoulder to drop the arm behind you, either grabbing for your left thigh and bringing bringing left elbow to left thigh or swinging your left arm underneath you. Now, if it's easy, switch your grip there, Kevin. Grab for your top wrist with your bottom hand instead. There you go. And now squeeze your right arm as straight as you can using your tricep. That's it. Now sit a little lower. Inhale, lean back, look up to roll open. Use the space between your shoulder blades. That's the difference. All right, lizard pose. 2 hands inside your left foot. Move your left foot to the left. Lift your right heel and sway your hips forward and back, forward and back. And on that back hinge, drop the knee down, point the toes. And then you might lower down to right elbow and might lower down to left elbow. And you also might not. But do use your exhales to go deeper into your experience. It's okay to get a little bit uncomfortable, right? You should feel something in your yoga practice. You can't say that you're challenging yourself or you're stretching yourself and not feel it. That's like saying you're in love and you don't actually feel it. If you're on your elbows, you come up onto your hands. Curl your left toes under, squeeze that back leg straight. And then, send your left foot back to meet your right, upper push-up. Inhale the weight forward. Exhale, lower halfway. Inhale, upward facing dog, strong arms, strong legs. Exhale, downward facing dog. And then inhale your right leg up. Bend your knee and swing it through for half pigeon. So knee comes wider than your shoulder. Square up your hips. Left leg long behind you. And then lengthen to lower. That looks nice, Isabel. If you can, bring your right heel more forward to the front edge of your mat. And make sure, not the knee, the heel. Yes, exactly. That'll deepen the stretch a bit. Keep reaching back through your left big toe and forward through the space between your shoulder blades, through the roof of your mouth. There's a push and a pull in all of these poses. There are oppositional forces. There are containers for experiences. It's kind of like a pot of boiling water. The container doesn't really change. Like the content itself doesn't change, but the state is constantly shifting. It's moving. And that's so empowering. Because what it means is that nothing about you is rigid. Nothing about you is absolute. Things move. You have to stay committed to, especially with the breath. Let the breath move. Let the breath move you. Exhale all your air out. Taking a sweet, sweet inhale. And exhale. And with your eyes closed, slowly walk your hands underneath your shoulders to lift your chest. Curl your left toes under, step your right foot back to meet it, upper push-up. Now you can either breathe through a flow or push directly back to downward facing dog. But once you exhale back to your downward facing dog, use the following inhale to float your left leg up, to bend your knee, and to swing it through for your half pigeon. Knee swings wider than your shoulder. Square off your hip and lengthen to lower. And once you're able to let things move, I think that's one of the first steps to really being able to surprise yourself, which is actually really challenging. It all sounds so simple. It's very challenging. The mind is very strong. It has very clear ideas of what our priorities are, where our boundaries are, what's important to us. And then life experiences inevitably and all the time rip us out of what's comfortable, right? We have comfort zones. They're like boxes. You have a ceiling, you have a floor, and you get ripped out of it all of the time. And when that happens, and what you get to practice here is what you choose to do once you're outside of your comfort zone. You can do whatever it takes to get back in, or you can learn to live outside of it. And then you raise the ceiling of that zone a little bit. You lower the floor. You broaden your bandwidth so that you can fully participate in whatever life throws your way next. So in these last few moments here, what does it mean to you to go deeper into your experience? Now, with your eyes closed, slowly walk your hands underneath your shoulders and do not miss a single sensation as you make your way back to downward facing dog. Don't miss a moment. This is your life. Don't miss it. When you're in down dog, it's the last one of class. You might pedal out your feet again. You might move your body around. And kind of like how we did in the very beginning, and also kind of a whole lot different. Body's different now. What's changed? What's new? Yeah, the spine is pretty warmed up, so let's go ahead and find Camel Pose. Come down to your knees, and then stand up on them. Knees about 6 inches apart, and hands on your lower back, so tips of fingers graze the top of your butt. Draw your shoulders down, hug your elbows in. Pull your belly up and into your palms with your chest, and look back to go back. And maybe you see a wall behind you, or a tree, it looks like for some people. Maybe you end up seeing the floor behind you. That looks great, Allegra. Just stretch your throat. Yes, maybe you grab for your heels with fingers on the inside and thumbs on the outside. But just because you can doesn't mean you have to. Rather, you go to a place where you can stay. Or when the mind says, get me out of here, you know your body can go a little bit deeper. Good, Alaria. Take one more inhale to look back. Hands to lower back, belly into palms to rise up. Settle your hips to your heels, Palms face up on your thighs, and don't do anything else. Don't sit, don't fidget, don't miss it. An opportunity to become the witness. It takes tapping into a very internal kind of quiet that has nothing to do with my voice or anything that's happening around you. It's the first place that you go to when you can start to acknowledge that camel pose or chair pose or life isn't happening to you, right? It's all coming from you. So make it happen for you. Then exhale all your air out. Taking a sweet, sweet inhale. And HA. Gently flutter your eyes open. And you got to get your legs in front of you. So either cross your ankles and swing them through, or drop your hips to the side and swing them around. You can scooch out the flesh from underneath you so you're rooted on your sitting bone. And then stretch your arms up so biceps frame your ears. Lift up out of your waist and then bow your body forward. Forward fold. And it's a forward fold, whether you catch your ankles, whether you catch your toes, or whether your palms passively face up next to your legs, as long as you're working to stretch the back of your body. Keep sending your heels forward to whatever degree you can, and your hips back. Keep lengthening through your middle upper back as you draw your shoulders away from your ears and use your biceps to pull yourself in deeper. You might take an inhale to look forward and reach your chest more forward. And then an exhale to bend your elbows and pull your face a little closer to your shins. Now with a firmness in your belly, roll yourself all the way up to seated. Okay, there are a lot of strong practices this morning, so let's try this. Bring your hands on top of your thighs, and then hands next to your thighs. So they're not by your hips, they're closer to your knees. Now bend your elbows to lean your chest forward. Lift your butt up off the mat. Keep pulling back with your hips. And now for just even a second, lift both your heels. Yes, do it, Henry. Both at the same time. Heels up. 5, 4, 3, 2. Yes, and then hips back down. Good. And if you got a cramp in your legs, that means that you are, looks like the initiation. You're basically getting there. All right. So some activation in your lower belly now. Lift your thighs parallel to the mat for your boat pose and press your palms together. And if you want to straighten your legs, you can, but more important to keep as flat of a back as possible. Inhale, lift your chest. Exhale, twist to the right, looking over your right shoulder to twist deeper. Come back to center and twist to your left and try to touch what you see. Back to center. Separate your hands. Inhale, knees towards your chest, and exhale to lower, lengthen, and hover. Inhale, knees to chest. Exhale, lower, lengthen, and hover. Good. Inhale, knees to chest. Pulling it even tighter than before. Exhale, lower, lengthen, hover, and stay for 5. Scissor kick your legs for 5. Now bring your biceps by your ears. It's what we do here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and release into bicycle crunches, opposite elbow to opposite knee for 10. Think tip of shoulder blade to opposite knee and get your lengthening legs low and long for like 5, 4, 3, 2. Hug your knees into your chest. Soften your belly into your thigh. And you can rock a little bit side to side. Okay, from here, you're welcome to lay flat on your back for Savasana. If you want to take plow or shoulder stand, that's where my words will take you next. So for shoulder stand, look down center line, not side to side, and reverse somersault your legs up over your head as you catch the weight of your hips with your hands. And extend your legs up towards the ceiling and squeeze your inner thighs together and up as you reach up with the big toe knuckles of your feet. Yeah, that looks good, Dan. Can you bring your left elbow a little bit more in? Now and everyone also try to bring your heels further away from you and your front of your hips more towards whatever's behind you. That's it, Jessica, nice. All right, for plow, you can gently let your feet fall towards the floor behind you. And if they touch, that's fine. If they don't touch, that's fine too. Then you just keep your hands on your lower back for support. Maybe knees come to forehead for Deaf Man's Pose, or they open up wider for Deaf Man's Pose, shins towards the floor. And then you can close your eyes if possible. And feel for your heart dropping between your shoulder blades and your tail floating up towards the ceiling. Go a little deeper. Looks great, Stacy. Now with a firmness in your belly and a softness behind your knees, you can slowly, slowly roll yourself all the way down. Nice. Into your final Savasana. Arms and legs open as wide as your mat. Palms face up towards the ceiling. Eyes closed. And this is another one. It's not about what it looks like. I'm sure you're great at looking like you're relaxing. Feel for it. Feel your weight on your mat. Feel the earth hold you back up. If you've heard nothing else I said in this hour, please really hear this part. Thank you. Thank you for your practice. Thank you for your work. Thank you for your spirit. And thank you for supporting accessible and inclusive yoga. Like I said before, you can't pay someone else to do this for you. This is work that you need to do for yourself. So practice as often as you can. We're offering 5 classes a day. We are donation based because that's how important it is to do this work. It's a $12 recommended donation. That is not a ceiling. It is absolutely not a floor. It gets the back of the person who doesn't have it. So if this morning you don't have it, know that there is some beautiful spirit here that is going to have your back, and you get us when you can, and we take care of each other. We'll end with a collective breath. I'll read a quote, and then I'll take you out of Savasana. So you're welcome to linger here as long as you'd like if you choose to do that. One more time as this group. Please exhale all your air out, out, out. Take in a slow, sweet inhale, hold it at the top. And HA. Mary Oliver said, "You do not have to be good. You do not have to walk for 100 miles through the desert repenting. You only have to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves." You can start to deepen your breath. Bring the awareness back into maybe your fingers and your toes, wiggling them. And you're welcome to keep your eyes closed as you roll over to one side. And slowly make your way up to seated. And then flutter your eyes open. Welcome back, world. Thank you so, so much. Thank you.